Worried about your drinking? Reserve your place on today's free Quit Drinking webinar and get a copy of my best-selling book, Alcohol Lied to Me, as a gift just for turning up. www.stopdrinkingexpert.com. Hello, Sober Army. How are you? This is Craig Beck, aka the Stop Drinking Expert and the author of Alcohol Lied to Me. All right, today on the latest Wednesday edition of the Happy Sober podcast, we are talking a couple of things, and thank you for everyone that's emailed in with suggestions and questions. You can get in touch with me via the website at craigbeck.com or stopdrinkingexpert.com. Where are we going to start today? Let's start with John. John emailed me this morning, said, good morning, Craig. Hope all is well. I listen to your podcast daily, sometimes twice. Ooh, you really are a glutton for punishment, aren't you, John? As well as read your books, as you've addressed pretty much any question that comes to mind. I do have one. I enjoy cooking, but are there any problems with adding alcohol to recipes? I've tried to research it, but as you can imagine, there are opinions on both sides of the fence. I know how busy you must be, but thank you for any thoughts you have about this, John. All right, good question. John, for me, there is no debate about this. And I struggle to really find a reason why there would be, but then human beings do like to disagree. So my take on this is pretty clear cut. If you're cooking with alcohol and the alcohol is added during the cooking process, knock yourself out. You're good to go, because most of the alcohol is going to burn off in the cooking process. So if you're, I don't know, you're making coq au vin in the slow cooker and you add red wine, by the time you come to eat the meal, you know, probably 99% of the alcohol is gone. You're just left with the flavor of the red wine. All right. So I think if it's involved in the cooking process, you're generally good to go. The only reason I can think that someone would object with that statement is if the specific taste of an alcohol is a trigger for you, then okay, maybe it could be a problem. So, for example, if you're cooking a steak and you add a bit of brandy or a bit of brandy butter into the pan, and that taste of brandy, even without the alcohol, triggers some sort of, psychological trigger, then okay, maybe best avoided. But honestly, I wouldn't stress too much about it. I don't think it's a problem. Now, where there is a problem, I think, is with cold food, with desserts, or any alcohol that is added after the cooking process. So, for example, trifles, tiramisu, something like that. Anything where the alcohol is not cooked, you are going to taste the alcohol, and you are going to get some alcohol. Now, not a massive amount. Maybe a whole tiramisu might have 2 shots of brandy in it or something. So your little portion is going to get you a fraction of a shot of brandy. But for some people, that's a trigger. Just that little bit can be the, waking up the evil clown and give him or her a bit of power. And my general thinking on this is it's just not worth the risk. The odds are not good enough to take the risk, because it's not like all the best desserts are the ones with alcohol in them. There are plenty of other great options. So you just don't need to take the risk. That's my stance on it. All right. And thanks for the email, John. All right. Next up, Lana. Lana is doing the Stop Drinking Expert program. She sent me an email saying, hi, Craig, this is crazy. Now, apparently, we have luxury poison available. It's such a joke. And she's pointed me to Vogue magazine. Here is the article she is referring to. So let's take a look here. The headline, alcohol brands want a seat at Fashion Weekend. Here's why. All right. My first thoughts on this are, this guy, if I saw someone dressed like that, I would cross the road, because that just looks weird. And I'm guessing this article is not aimed at me or my demographic, because that guy just looks like a complete plank, if you ask me. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I can't see the full article because it's behind a paywall, and I'm certainly not going to pay good money to read garbage, which I haven't read this yet, but I'm automatically assuming it's pure garbage. So let's start with the opening paragraph here, and let's see if we can work out where this is going to go. So, for much of alcohol's industry's history, consumer choice was driven primarily by taste and tradition. Whiskey drinkers were loyal to particular brands. Tequila was a party staple, while gin belonged to cocktail culture. All right. I this seems to be just pure conjecture because it's not true. It states as though it's like a well-worn fact, like we're all supposed to read that and go, yeah, that's it. It's like saying gravity has always been on Earth, and we have never had a time when gravity didn't exist. It's the sort of thing you read, and you're supposed to go, yeah, well, that's obvious. This is stated with that sort of intent, like this is a statement, and we all know it's true. But if you stop for a moment, you think about it. For much of the alcohol industry's history, consumer choice was driven primarily by taste and tradition. No, no. People have always drank champagne because it implies status. People have always drank cheap cider to get drunk, not because of tradition, not because it's the best tasting thing available. People drink vodka because it gets the job done, not because their dad and their granddad and their great granddad all drank vodka. This whole article starts on a platform of BS. So I'm going to assume, before I read any more, that this is a paid-for article, that an alcohol brand has paid for this content. Let's proceed. And it also looks like it was written by AI as well, actually. This looks like, in fact, that makes a lot of sense when I think about it like that. These sort of little hashes here, these elongated hyphens, are a telltale sign of AI. And AI could make it some sort of junk statement like that if it was told to. So that's what I'm thinking. This is an AI churned out article, and I suspect this is paid for. So let's read a bit more. Well, it's saying that fake formula that never existed. Well, it's changing now. Increasingly, luxury spirits are being positioned as lifestyle markers. What does that mean? What's a lifestyle marker? Products with cultural cachet that help consumers express identity, much like fashion. Oh, Jesus. You couldn't make it up, could you? It follows the bold move made by alcohol brands at Fashion Week this season. Here we go. Johnny Walker has partnered with stylist Law Roach, who has created 4 cocktails for the brand and co-hosted a party alongside Perfect Magazine. Okay, where do I start with this? So it appears that Johnny Walker is paying for this article. I'm willing to go out on a limb here and say that I've never heard of Law Roach, and I'm willing to bet here and now that you haven't either. I may be wrong here. I'm taking a gamble. In the comments below, you ever heard of a designer, a stylist called Law Roach? I mean, does this person even exist? Because anyone who has a name, Law Roach, sounds like a bit of a plonker. So, I mean, what's happened here is a drinks company, an alcoholic drinks company, has paid for a connection with a stylist as a way of getting involved in Fashion Week or something. This stylist has created some cocktails using this brand of whiskey. Then they've thrown a marketing event where they've invited journalists for free drinks and a nice time at a posh place, probably, in the hope that these journalists will go away and write lovely things about the client, Johnny Walker. So that's all it is. Nothing about this is true. Nothing about this is newsworthy. Nothing about this means anything. It's just a word salad to promote poison, a specific brand of poison. It starts on the foundation of nothing, and then it goes on to establish nothing. Nothing has happened. People haven't changed their drinking brand to make a fashion statement. They haven't started drinking a specific brand of whiskey because it's a lifestyle marker, because nobody knows what a lifestyle marker is. This is just words for the sake of it. But it's the sort of thing that seeps into the background. You know, if you're a drinker and you're a problem drinker, this background noise that drinking highly addictive poison is not just hideously terrible for you, but is actually something that is to do with your social standing and your social class, it can have an impact. You know, I spent a good couple of years of my drinking career in the firm belief, even though I secretly knew I was lying to myself, but in the firm and very vocal belief that I wasn't an alcoholic, I was a wine connoisseur. And I could prove that to you because I had a tasting journal. And when I walked into a restaurant, they gave me the best table in the house. Why? Because they knew I would spend more than I could afford on very expensive poison. And I would be a complete prat about it. So that social aspect, that lie that your choice of alcohol demonstrates your level of class and fashion is out there, and it does kind of work. But make no bones about it, this article is based on nothing. It's just purely marketing disguised as content. And for that, you should feel contempt for it. And thank you very much to Lana for sending it in. If you have any questions or if you find anything like that you want me to bring up, send it on over to me and get in touch with me via the website, craigbeck.com or stopdrinkingexpert.com. Thanks a lot. See you in the next episode.